morning. Welcome to Enduro 360. I'm your host, Chili White. Today, short feature. We are saying goodbye to 2014 KTM 450xc-f. So let me bring you up to speed on everything that's happened with it so far. Pretty windy outside today, so I'm having to shoot inside the garage here. Hard to believe. I've had the 450xc-f for, let's see, 6-8 months, something like that. As near as I can calculate, I've got about 170 hours on it. I have done a ton of trail time on this bike. Haven't ridden it really hard, but I've put tons of miles on it. Let's see, let's just start walking around here and taking a look. I've got the FMF 4.1 with the tiniest insert I can get in it. That only serves, well, it serves two purposes. One, to quiet the bike down, but two, to really choke it down, to tame the motor down a little bit, make it a little more trail worthy. It's actually worked extremely well that way. Fastway linkage guard, that thing's definitely taken a little use and abuse. The AXP, I know we've talked about most of this stuff, but this is the skid plate you can now get from Moose Racing. This is on its second bike I had on the 350. It fits right on the 450 just fine. The down tubes on the frame are slightly different, but it's got enough room in there in the mounts to accommodate that. That's really my favorite current KTM skid plate. Cheruby's tank on there, that thing just, it works super well. It gives this bike about 120 to 130 range, and that's very comfortably for Baja trail riding. Squadron light, you know, again, that was just a plug and play for the smaller charging system on the XCF, and same for the SX models. That thing has, you know, it's so nice to have it. It's got the nice little switch and wiring harness from Baja Designs. Really a clean application. Handguards, flex bars, you know, my wishes for the bike are a couple of things. One is I wish it didn't vibrate as much. Frankly, you know, the new bikes, they're just stiffer all the way around, and so vibration is going to be a natural effect for that. Some of it comes through the bars, some of it through the seat, and some of it through the pegs. There's just really no way to get rid of all of it. The flex bars were by far the biggest single improvement. We tried a couple of bar end inserts, really didn't make any progress with those. We've got the BRP rubber mounts on there that were run in conjunction. My recommendation on the BRP mounts is that they are for the rider who just really does not want flex bars. Personally, I did find that they raised the bars a little bit in this particular application. The smaller frames on the newer bikes, I found the slight rise in handlebar height to be a little more comfortable, so that's why I just left them on there. The forks, KTM took, what's it called? It's called the bottoming hydro stop or something out of the forks. It's something that comes right out of the base valve. It's like a 5-minute tweak on these. They were definitely considerably better than stock once we did that, but you know, this 4-chamber fork just still needs a little more fine-tuning. They went from being too soft on the Husabergs and the off-road model Huskies to being a little too stiff on the 4-stroke XCF models like this. I get by with them, but they're certainly not as plush in a lot of situations as I would like them to be. The biggest single improvement we made to this bike, and the only thing that I absolutely recommend to anybody, was the 12-ounce Steely flywheel weight. That just made the motor on this so much more manageable, and it slows down the response by a fraction, but this bike still has a ton of power. So I really found no downside to it. I just, you know, people ask me, well, should I, what if, just do it. I guarantee you'll be happy with it. Gearing wise, we found the tallest we could possibly run and still really expect to ride any single track was 1450. If I was doing more dedicated single track, I'd probably go back to a 13 in the front, run 1350. It's still just a little bit tall at times. The challenge is for, you know, really more open riding. This thing will only cruise about 55. I mean, it'll go way faster than that, but if you're heading off down the road for 10 miles, 55 is about your cruising speed without it vibrating too bad. Got our BRP chain guide on there, got our Ironman sprocket, all that stuff's held up really well. Fuel injection, we're going to talk a little bit more about fuel injection, injectors, and cleaning injectors. But I've got to say, this bike has a ton of miles on it. The fuel injection system has never been touched, the injector has never been out of the bike, and it's run absolutely flawless. As for fuel, almost all the fuel that's been through this bike has been Pemex. So, I'm not doing anything to take special or extra care of it. I'm not running the split stream filter in the tank because the HRV's tank really doesn't accommodate it well. I do take the little 20 micron filter out of here and clean it every once in a while, but I literally just shake it out, blow through it, make sure it doesn't have any real obstructions in there, and it's been fine. Overall, I have to say I've just really enjoyed riding this bike. It's so much fun. It's not quite as comfortable for really most of what I do is really classified much more like dual sport riding. But it's so light feeling, it's so agile, and it's got so much motor that it just feels like you've got a race bike underneath you all the time, and that can be a lot of fun. Would it be my own personal bike? Well, I guess I have to say no, and the reason is this. My riding has got to where I'm not really doing any track time anymore. I'm not doing very much racing, so those are kind of low priorities on the list. If I was doing either, absolutely. Take this thing to the track and it's on par with any motocrosser out there unless you're running some single digit number. It's really good on the track. I'm hampered by the fact that we don't quite have enough gearing without having a 6-speed, and I'm not really excited about no longer having a Kickstarter. I do a lot of backcountry remote riding, and those are things that would be nice to have. But I do love the bike. If I was doing the kind of riding it was really designed for, yes, it would be right at the top of my list. Today, we're taking it back, so it's going away, but I'm bringing a 500 home, so pretty excited about that. I'm going to be really interested to see how the 500 compares now that we've put so much time on this bike, and I've really gotten so in tune with it. What the comparison is going to be. So that will be next up on the list. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon. As always, you can see more at enduro360.com.